Hello, today I am starting a new series called Ready to Move Abroad, Start with Your Mindset. And I talk about mindset a lot on my channel because it's something that I think gets overlooked when people are thinking about a move abroad. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new here, welcome. I am Patricia Brooks. I'm an American living in the south of France, and I moved here in 2018. And now I help people who are ready to start the next chapters of their lives, living and thriving in a foreign country, find the confidence and courage to do it. And on this channel, I talk about my life here in France, about making a move abroad, and how to live the kind of life you know you deserve to. And today I am going to be talking about getting your mindset right for having success in integrating in a new country. Now, I remember back in the 1970s, there was a wonderful movie called Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino. And there's one line in the movie that sticks with me to this day. He is holding up a bank and he's got the bank manager at gunpoint. And the bank manager goes to open up a safe. And he's got this special key that will set off an alarm. Now, Al Pacino's character knows that that is a special key. And he's got the guy at gunpoint and he says, "What are you doing?" And the bank manager says, "I must have been out of my mind." And Al Pacino says, "You get your mind right. I'm a Catholic and I don't want to hurt anybody." And that line sticks with me. And so getting your mind right before a move abroad is vital. And today, as I said, this is going to be a series. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the things that holds people back, and that is perfectionism. Yes. And this is relevant, especially since I recently had my Enneagram done. And if you don't know, an Enneagram is a typology, a personality assessment that tells you how you manage in the world, what your strengths are, what you might struggle with. And it turns out that I am a type 1. I guess maybe it's similar to type A, I don't know. But type 1, they used to call type 1s perfectionists. Now they have changed the term so it's a little softer, whether it's reformer or reinventor or something like that. But I think that I can see this in myself years ago. Now I feel like I'm not so much so, but the woman who did my assessment, Lynn, actually did a live stream with her last week. And you can check out that video after this one. I'll put a link to that in the description. But she said that it might not necessarily be around being perfect to others. It's about you being perfect for yourself. And I can relate to that. Well, anyway, how does being a perfectionist impact your move abroad, impact the life that you want to experience in a foreign country? Well, it has a big one if you don't start working to shed those tendencies. I was on a recent discovery call with a woman who is planning to move to France in the next 3 or so months. And one of the things that we discussed was that she wanted information about what it's like to live in France. And that made me think, oh, she probably could use my information session as a session where you can pick my brain and I will tell you about my experiences here in France. You can ask specific questions about life in France. And as we were talking, I thought, yeah, that would be the most relevant section. Well, toward the end of our conversation, she said that she didn't want to make any mistakes. And in that moment, it didn't strike me. So next morning I woke up and I was like, oh, maybe she would benefit from one of my coaching sessions or packages. And that is because if you are planning a move abroad and you plan not to make any mistakes, you are going to be in for a rude awakening. Because when you move abroad, there will be mistakes and you will make some of them. That's just the way it is. And if you struggle with perfectionism, it can impact not only how you settle in here, but it can impact whether you get here at all. A lot of times people who have perfectionistic tendencies, they will do a lot of research and a lot of planning and a lot of analyzing. And sometimes they get to the point of overanalyzing, over planning. And what that does is that gets you spinning, and you can never have all of the answers. And then that can cause you to stall, to procrastinate, and to kind of put your dreams of living abroad on the shelf. And that's not a good place to be. But if you do manage to get through that analysis paralysis and you do manage to make a move abroad, the other problem could be that how you experience your life abroad is different from how you envisioned it. In that you feel anxious, or it doesn't feel as peaceful or calm as you had wanted. I'm going to tell you a story. When I was in high school, I always wanted to have the best retort or the right retort to something somebody said to me. And one day, somebody said something to me. I don't remember what it was, but I remember I could have said something better in reply. And I kept thinking, oh, Patricia, you should have said this. And when I was with my boyfriend, I kept saying, oh, I should have said this. I should have said this. And I said it over and over and over again to him. Finally, he said to me, it's like, you really enjoy raking yourself over the coals. And it was then that I realized, didn't do anything about it for years because I really wasn't aware that this was something that was negatively impacting how I experienced life. But that was when I became aware that, oh, that's not necessarily normal. And I do kind of dwell in the mistakes I've made in the past and what I could have or should have done differently so that they were better or maybe perfect. And having that kind of life, that experience, doesn't make for a comfortable, peaceful, confident experience in life. And if you are living in a foreign country, there are going to be things that you are not going to know. There are going to be mistakes that you make. And if you don't give yourself grace around them, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel pleasant. And I want to take this a little bit further. If you're moving to a country that speaks a foreign language and you aren't fluent in that language yet, being a perfectionist can impact how much you learn of that language. I ran into a friend the other day, and I was with my friend Baini, who speaks French and his native tongue from Mali, but not English. And I met this friend while I was with my friend Baini. And so our conversation, the three of us, were speaking in French. And my friend had been here in France for about the same length of time that I have been, about 7 years. And she was struggling to communicate. It wasn't that she didn't want to. It wasn't that she wasn't putting forth the effort. But around that effort, it felt like struggle. Struggle is effort laced with negative emotions. And so if you're moving to a country that isn't speaking your native language, and you're not fluent in that language, being a perfectionist might stop, slow, impede your progress to be able to communicate without having that angst around that. And it was just so noticeable to me that that was the case. Now, I don't know the reason that she struggles so, but I know that not wanting to make a mistake when you're speaking to somebody else will cause you not to speak at all. And speaking a new language is the way that you're going to progress in speaking it better, right? I know people who are better at reading and writing their foreign language than they are at speaking it, because that seems a little bit more accessible or a little less scary in making a mistake. But it's not necessarily helpful when you're learning a new language. So what can you do if you have this tendency to want to make things perfect and you're planning a move abroad? Well, the first thing you can do is to become aware that you have this tendency. Like for me in high school, my high school sweetheart saying, "Oh, you really enjoy raking yourself over the coals," was something that pointed to that. And as I said, it wasn't until years later, probably close to the time I became a life coach, that I recognized that that wasn't helpful and that I needed to shift my thoughts about that. Because it was something that was an ingrained pattern that, or a habit that I needed to change. And so once you become aware that you have this tendency and once you see how that shows up in your life, you can become aware of it and stop it, right? As it's happening, you can say, "Oh, there it is again. There it is again." And in that breaks that habitual pattern. Now, there are other things that you can do once you have started to break the pattern. You're going to want to replace that with a positive affirmation, something that will help you to give yourself grace. Something perhaps to the tone of, "Oh, well, you're new at this, and so of course you didn't get it right." Or, "Well, this is something that you've never done before, so mistakes will happen." Something that gives you some space around it and allows you to move forward with more ease. All right. Now, I am a life coach. I help people make a move abroad. And one of the things that I focus on is helping people to become the kind of person who moves abroad confidently and sustainably. It's not a given that if you make a move abroad, that you are going to find yourself living here long term, because it's challenging. And if you haven't worked on your mindset, it's more likely that you might struggle, that it might feel harder, and that you might decide, "You know what, I'm just going to go back. I'm going to throw in the towel and I'm going to go back." There was an article a few months back of a couple who moved to France, and the article was full of red flags that they had not worked on their mindset. Cultural differences that could be expected and anticipated, and that some people are looking forward to experiencing, were things that they were surprised with. And as a result, after only 11 months, they rebounded back to the United States. And so I don't want that for you. If you truly want to move abroad, I want you to enjoy yourself and integrate here with as much ease as possible. So I offer a couple of things. So I've got these videos where I talk about mindset, and I've got a whole playlist that you can check out if that's of interest to you. But I also offer coaching. I offer one-on-one coaching for individuals, and I offer a group coaching and mentoring program for single women. Now, the individual one-on-one coaching is something that is open to anybody, whether you're married or single, that's available to you. And in those sessions, we talk about what things are holding you back and how to create a mindset that will support you, first of all, making the move abroad, but second of all, integrating with a sense of ease and peace. So if you're interested in working with me or learning more about that, you can schedule a discovery call with me by going to thecouragecatalyst.com/future expat. Now, if you're a single woman and you feel like it's a scary proposition to make this move abroad alone, and you would like the support of a vibrant, like-minded community of women who are doing it and have done it, then perhaps the Carefree Expat Incubator Program is for you. Now, it's a program that offers the group coaching twice weekly. It offers a curriculum that helps you to work through your why. It helps you to work through those habits and thought patterns that might not suit you abroad, and helps to work through those and change those, as well as a project management piece that allows you to know, what are the things I need to do in my old country to shut things down there? What are the things I need to stand up in my new country so that I can settle in with ease logistically? And there's also a private group where you can share your wins, you can support others, you can ask questions. And there is an annual in-person summit. And this year, October of 2025, we are going to be in Avignon, France. And this is an opportunity for us to take it offline because we meet every week and we are on those Zoom calls, and those are wonderful. They're a transformative experience. But meeting in person and exploring a new town just takes it to another level. So if that sounds like something that you would be interested in, you can apply to become a member by going to thecouragecatalyst.com/CEI. Apply there, and then we can have a conversation to see how to get started. All right? So, perfectionism. It is not your friend when you are making a move abroad. And if you don't work on identifying that this is something that may impact you, if you don't work on changing your thoughts around that, then it can cause you to not have the kind of life you want in your dream country. And I don't want that for you, and I know you don't want that for yourself either. That is all I have for you today in this video. As I said, this is a series, Ready to Move Abroad. Start with your mindset. Next time, we're going to be talking about another mindset that is not helpful as you plan your move abroad. That's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.